Thank you, Aviel, for the opportunity to come and give you all an update on what's occurring in our community and what to expect in the next 6 months to 12 months. Also wanted to thank the mayor for believing in me. She didn't mention, but it's in the bio, I worked for UT Pan American for 12 years, and towards the end of my term there, people started calling me a chupacabras. Not because I was a bloodsucker, but because I was always talking about Schumpeterian economics. I don't know how they got chupacabras from Schumpeterian economics, but Schumpeterian economics is an approach to economic development. It's an entrepreneurial approach. It's the idea that there's opportunities in every community, and the approach is to identify those opportunities where you can invest in an opportunity that's going to have an exponential impact in the community. And I'm very fortunate to have found a place in the Edinburg Economic Development Corporation where I didn't have to go preach Schumpeterian economics, and that's really the approach that they have been following. I also wanted to clarify, if you heard me refer to Mike Govan as the situation, or Martin Rivas as El Guapo, I wasn't being funny. It's just that that's the name that they follow us on Facebook, and that's their screen name on Facebook. We actually have close to 700 followers on Facebook. We want to get about 1,000 people by September. So if you don't follow us on Facebook, I would encourage you to follow us on Facebook. It's a great vehicle for finding out what's occurring in our community, because there's things going on every day, and we post things, on a daily basis. One of the key things that I wanted to do when I came over to the EDC is to let people know about all the different things that are going on in our community, because there's a lot of things going on. And if you look up at the screens, you'll see Edinburg, the new Edinburg. We're not talking about the new Edinburg, but it's a campaign, Edinburg City Limits. And if you look at your water bottles there, you'll see also the website there. And it was a website that we haven't officially launched, but it's a place where people can go to find out about what's occurring in our community. Something interesting on that water bottle, you might recognize those quick response codes. If you have a smartphone, you can download an app, and you can just take a picture of that little barcode, and it'll take you to our website. I thought we were being real innovative until I looked it up in the internet, and it turns out that the Japanese started using quick response codes 16 years ago, and but it is new here, and it's really catching fire, and we thought we'd be novel and do that. But I would also encourage you to visit our website. Elva asked me to give some kind of a big announcement, and that's a lot of pressure there. But the announcement really that I want to make, and if you follow us on Facebook, you probably already know this. And the announcement is that we're in the beginning stages of a new economic boom. And I see some people there kind of maybe second guessing what I'm saying, but that's what I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to give you some proof that shows that Edinburg really is poised to boom. We can start with something that the mayor already mentioned. Our community has added, just between Teleperformance and Newstats, 1,000 jobs in the last 6 months. And we're anticipating that we're going to add another 1,000 jobs in the next 6 months. Some of those jobs will come from some of the projects that the mayor already mentioned, but 400 of those jobs are going to come from a project that we're not quite ready to announce, but we'll be announcing in a couple of weeks. It's a project that's going to bring 400 jobs, insurance, well paid, and we're very excited about that. Jobs are important because jobs attract people. You probably already know that our community grew 59% from 2000 to 2010. Our community is 77,100. It's growing between 4 to 5% a year. If you look at 5% a year of 77,000 people, that's like 30-something hundred people. That's about 1,000 new households. 1,000 households represents, 1,000 people going out there buying cars. I see Mr. Becker over here to the side. Buying houses, or renting. One of the things that is occurring is residential construction is slightly declining, and Part of that is because of lack of financing, but we are seeing a lot of interest in large multifamily projects because the population is going to continue to grow. So where are people going to live? You know, they have to live somewhere. And we're seeing a lot of interest from a wide variety of developers that are saying, hey, we want to go to Edinburg. We want to build large multifamily because that's where the new jobs are. That's where people are going to go, so we're going to go build there. Retail sales. The mayor alluded to it. Our retail sales tax for March grew by 17%. We're up about 13%. Ramiro doesn't like for me to mention that because every time I say that, all the departments go to him and say, hey, can we have an increase in our budget? But the reality is that actually, fiscal year to date, we're up about 15%. And 17% increase for the month of March was the highest in all of the valley. Something else that's a very good indicator, but it's not reflected in retail sales, is the sale of new cars. You might not know this, but Fiesta Chevrolet for 2010 was among the top 50 Chevy dealers in the country, and Hacienda Ford was also among the top 50 in the country. And you can check the cross-sale reports. That's a big accomplishment. These are dealers that really beat out everybody else south of San Antonio. And that really says a lot about our community. If you look at the cross-sale reports, Brownsville really beats us out in the sale of used cars. But you know, we're selling new cars because people have jobs here, people are working, people are spending money, and they're buying cars. But probably the biggest indicator of this economic boom is commercial construction, and that's really what I'm going to talk to you about today. For the first quarter of 2011, our commercial construction is up 613%. And we're anticipating that we're going to achieve $70 to $80 million for the year, which is something that we have not experienced since 2006. So if that doesn't tell you that we're booming, you know, I don't know what else can. I wanted to take the mic off and go over to the screens and kind of, what I've done is, as part of our Edinburg City Limits campaign, we've been doing tours throughout the city. And recently, I took the Leadership Edinburgh to tour some of the projects that are currently under construction, because we're not talking about plans that are going to happen, you know, 18, 24 months from now. We're talking about things that are actually occurring in our community as we speak. Before I do that, I wanted to show you a quick slide here that kind of shows you commercial residential construction for all of the valley. And it'll show you that the only community that's actually beating us in commercial construction is Brownsville. Year to date, Brownsville is at about $60 million, and Edinburg is at $37,800. But Brownsville is almost 3 times the size of Edinburgh. McAllen, as the mayor mentioned, is at $19 million compared to our $37,800,000, and they're a community that's twice the size of Edinburgh. Just to kind of put things into perspective. When I take people on this tour, we go up 281, and we get off on 2812 out towards the landfill, the hill country of Edinburgh. And if you're on 2812 and you look south, you see some construction going on. And there's an 87-acre site there that is currently being built. They're building the first phase of this. And let me show you what it's going to look like. This is the first phase. It's about 250,000 square feet, 240,000 square feet. It's for produce distribution. The reason this is occurring is because the state of Sinaloa is the largest exporter of produce to the U.S. And all that produce stays along the Pacific coast. They don't cross the mountains because Roberto tells me it's a 2-lane road, and there's all these curves. And when you're crossing in a big truck, you have to have 2 people in the truck because somebody has to get off and look to make sure that there's no cars coming so that you can go ahead and take the curb. But now there's been a road under construction since 2007 that's going to cut through those mountains, and it's going to connect the state of Sinaloa with Durango. And then from Durango, they can go to Monterrey, and then Monterrey, they can go to FAR, Brownsville, Matamoros, Laredo. And the idea that the developer of this project has is that more people are going to be moving produce through this area because it's the shortest distance. And in produce, you know, when you can cut distance and you can cut time, you save money. So he's doing this project in anticipation that there'll be a new corridor for produce distribution. This is what's currently under construction there. As you see, the structures are actually going up already, and they're anticipating to be completed and occupied by November. Then we turn around 2812 and we go into the North Industrial Park, and you've probably already noticed if you've driven up 281, the first building there is FedEx Ground. They're building a 120,000 square foot facility. They're going to have about 120 people working there, and they should be open by September. It's almost complete, but they'll be up by September. The next place, and you might not recognize it, this is the first phase of Santana Textiles. There's actually a couple buildings like that. And I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but that building is actually 2 football fields long. So it's pretty significant, and we're very excited because it's not just about building a building, but it's bringing back an industry. Historically, this area was a cotton growing area. Last year, we grew about 100,000 acres. We have the potential to grow about 300,000 acres. I don't know if you follow commodity prices, but the price of cotton is the highest it's been since the Civil War. So if you drive around rural areas of Hidalgo County, you're going to see a lot of white, and that's cotton. So really, it's about bringing back an industry that was an integral part of who we were as a community. And this is a project that's going to have a significant impact in our community. This is another picture of Santana Textiles. You might recognize this. We recently announced that the shops at Rio Grande Valley was going to be doing a 90,000 square foot expansion. What you see here is on Trenton, they're building a new McDonald's, and they've already done one of the streets that cuts out into Klausner, and they'll start construction in the next couple of weeks on the 90,000 square foot expansion. They have a couple stores that they've already announced, and they're working very hard on bringing some other stores to the shops. And I can't tell you too many details, but they're working on a large anchor that will, if it happens, will be a game changer for Edinburg. So we're very excited about the prospects out at the shops. And really, it's not just the shops, but it's the whole Trenton corridor. This is a site plan for the shops. What they're going to be constructing over the next couple of months is this right here. It's 90,000 square feet. What's already under construction is there. There's actually a lot of space already there. There's a lot of stores there, but the property is so big that it looks small in relation to the property. It's 116, 120 acres. Paul? 120 acres. After we go through there, we take them through Trenton, and then I tell them about a property that the Edinburg Economic Development Corporation owns. It's right next to the tax office behind there. And we have it under contract. Somebody's going to be building 239 apartments at a cost of about $65,000 to $70,000 per unit. And they're really encouraged about the medical community. People don't realize this, but there's 9 hospitals with 7,000 direct hospital employees in Edinburg, just between Trenton and McCall. And one of the things that we've been missing is, higher end multifamily in that area. So we're very excited about that particular project. There's also a couple other projects that will be happening, and we hope to have an announcement sometime this summer related to the building there that used to be, that has the big sign about the Alamo Draft House. But this picture here is, it's incredible. About 2 months ago, we went out for the groundbreaking for the conference center, the Edinburg Conference Center at Renaissance, and this is where they've come. We took the Leadership Edinburg class out there, and I was very pleased to hear from Marisa Castaneda about some of the things that are developing. She told me that they have to finish the building by November because they already have a behavioral conference scheduled for November 19th. So this place better be ready. They've partnered with UT Medical Branch and with the UT Health Science Center. They're expecting about 400 people there. And she will also reported that they've entered into a partnership with the UT Health Science Center and with the Cancer Treatment Research Center. And they'll be hosting a male prostate cancer conference. Yeah, I kind of screamed when she said it also.